Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Question about the goalies and the players, and as you guys know, we love to give you our lineup. We don't want to, there's no bull. We'll give it to you, but obviously this time of year we're not going to, right? It's just going to be we don't know a couple sometimes, but sometimes we don't want to let the other team know what's going on either, right? I mean, it's any little advantage we feel we can gain, that we're going to try to do that. So I'm not doing it to spite anybody. It's just a matter of, we'll keep it pretty close.
Yes, the high-level chess match begins.
Oh, yes.
The high-level chess match.
Nobody's saying anything about goaltenders. Do we even have a goaltender? Does anyone have a goaltender? Nobody's got a goal. We might go empty net all game. Everyone might go empty net.
You don't know. We might play three goalies at once and take the forwards off the ice. You have no idea what we're going to do. We're going to keep.
We'd love to tell you, though. God, would we like to tell you? I just want to tell you so much, but I can't tell you anything.
Yeah. Oh, we also have. Looks like Billy Guerin spoke to the media yesterday as well.
Listen, you guys know what this is all about, right? Right? What's it all about? Spurgey?
Hard work and having fun.
That. This is about winning.
Yeah. You damn right it is. Because it's the Cup. Starts tonight.
Because guys will be playing with arms hanging, knees dangling, heads halfway lopped off, and you know what? None of it keeps these guys up.
I know Mackie and Judd and Score North can just be trendsetters, but I feel like we were the first ones on the "it's about effing winning" train. Like now the Wild are now using it's about winning. Like that's their playoff slogan. It's about winning.
Yeah.
And the Billy Guerin clips more like surfacing in social medias, other places like over the last few months. I just want to be right here and be the first one to say that the Mackie and Judd and Score North and Judd's Hockey Show were all over. It's about effing winning.
And first of all, put effing winning on the T-shirt. It's not about winning. Winning's nice. There's nothing nice about pro sports. It's about effing winning. Let's bring the F back. You know what? If your kids can't take it, get rid of them. I don't want your kids around this hockey team. It's about effing winning. You know what that also means? It's about Kirk Cousins being MVP. It's about Byron Buxton playing 145. I think you're right, Dex. I thought the same exact thing. Like Bill Guerin from the East Coast, right? 4 Stanley Cups. He's come here conditioned to say, you are the biggest bunch of soft human beings I've ever seen. It's changing right now. Score Northers right. It's about effing winning.
Well, a couple things. I'm going to. You said something about Kirk Cousins there that I need to circle back on here. We'll get to statements, and we got a buffoon of the week here. But what's controversial about wanting, and whatever word you want to use, pushing for your favorite teams to win more? I almost feel like, because we've been doing this for years on even the old radio show, 1500 ESPN. And we get some pushback from people. Like, what do you mean it's not realistic to expect a championship? Why? How about 1 in 30 years? Is that a realistic timeline for the men's teams in this town? And I'm glad that there are some executives here, Billy Guerin being probably the foremost example, that say, yeah, it is about effing winning here. It's not make the playoffs and cross your fingers and see what happens. And right. I mean, it's like we've seen enough of that for 3 decades. I think we know what that is already. Let's get to the next level.
I got the answer. It's because we like players. Oh, I like those players. Oh, those players, Marge. Those players are good. Screw those players. I don't care. It's about the crest. It's about effing winning means it's about the crest.
Well,
it's about the.
You can like players and still want your team to win a championship. Boston sports fans had plenty of players that they liked.
Exactly, but you know what? You always have to be itching, unless they're stars. Like Kaprizov is a different guy, but you got to be itching to jettison them at a moment's notice, and we don't like that. I'm telling you right now. Like, could you guys imagine if this was Boston, for instance, okay? Or like just a blue-collar sports town. You do know, like the papers right now would be actively doing stories on, does Karl Anthony Towns fit here?
Oh, I hear you. On
Like
that.
not D'Lo. I mean, D'Lo we could talk about. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, he choked. He was terrible. I don't want him here. But I mean, you do know, like for all of the conditioning here, like we're like, well, of course you can't trade Cat, and I do agree they probably won't. If this was a real hardcore, it's about winning all the time sports town, there would be dissections of the fact that Cat might not fit here.
Okay, I'm going to tweet because you say it sometimes, like you criticize people for liking players, and I don't agree with that. But what you just said, I think if I could rephrase what you're saying, it's we're afraid to be hard on players when they deserve it. Like you can still love Karl Anthony Towns and his unicorn 7-foot 3-point shot and everything. But when that dude fails to show up or actively submarines 3 playoff games and helps you blow 26 and 13-point leads in the fourth quarter, right? Like it's almost like we go into protection mode. Oh, well, but you know, he's gone through a lot. Well, you know, it was a good run. We just need to learn. And it's like, well, it's year 7. Right. By the time KG was in year 7, he was winning an MVP. So we're afraid to be hard on teams and set expectations because I don't know, it's mean. I don't know what it is. It's a very Midwestern thing that we need to stop doing.
It's soft. It's soft. And where I do mean what I'm saying is we identify the player as the team. They're not. The crest is. How do you gather up a group? And by the way, it's not just talent. It's people that are SOBs. I mean, pro sports is brutal. We're about to embark on my favorite playoff because it's brutal. Because Marcus Foligno is probably going to try to play through a knee that something's torn. Something's very wrong. But he's going to try and play because, as Phil jokes, it's the cup. Because it's the cup. But, I mean, we just get these loyalties to people. Sports isn't about the people. It's about the best people who are wired right. That's what frustrates me so much. This whole, well, we better back off that guy. You know, I mean, Cat is the prime example. In a harsher sports market, there would have been discussion since Game 6 ended about, does he work here? And it wouldn't be, well, of course, they can't trade Cat or, or to your point, Phil, he's been through a lot. Well, he has. That sucks. As a human, empathy. As a player, dude, you got to do more.
But that's mean.
Yeah, you know what?
Coming up next, the Timberwolves blew 3 double-digit fourth-quarter leads for the first time in basketball history. But look at their awesome workout regimen this summer. Look how good of friends they are. It's great.
And Carl, I mean, the team tried hard too, Phil. Like we are the ultimate. Well, but did they have fun and get treat tickets to go to Dairy Queen post game? Because I mean, if they did, that's great. You know, and Jared Spurgeon, I checked that clip. Is a legit clip. No setup, no, hey, Jared, say this so I can say that. That's a legit clip, and that's the problem now. This is where the wiring of pro sports is a problem. Hard work and having fun. What are you talking about, dude?
So that you can confirm that, because it looked like a setup. So you're confirming that he legitimately thought it was about hard work and having fun?
I actually checked, because I thought the same thing, and I thought, hard work and having fun. Like, you really think that's what you're here for? Dude, first of all, you're making a lot of dough, which is great for you. Second of all, it is about almost, and I say this and it's harsh, but I just don't care. It is about almost ignoring everything else in your life at this point to win a championship. Like, that's the work it takes. I mean, if you want to be, I got a lot going on in my life. You should see, I'm going to I love the fact that people in this town help out. I think that's great. I think they should. But if my choice is this guy's going to win an award for, the community service, or he's going to have a good Stanley Cup playoff, give me the son of a you-know-what every time.
You can do both. I just want to make it clear. Like, you can be a great Samaritan and also
and if you don't want to
championships. Like,
but I'm saying
it's not a zero sum between those two things.
But I'm giving you one of the two. But I'm giving you one of the two. What would you take? What would you take if I can give you one of the two, SOB or Good Samaritan?
Well, again, you can do both. Like, why can't you do both? Like, I want championships, but I'm not going to.
I'm giving you a choice. One of the two.
It's a weird question.
No, it's not. It's Jared Spurgeon said hard work and having fun.
You're saying, dude, you've gone a bridge too far. You are saying that if you help cancer-ridden kids in the hospital, you are taking your focus away from winning a championship.
No, no.
Patently ridiculous.
No,
I am with you on 90% of this, but then you go into like, you must fast for 60 days.
I'm saying if you elect to bring on a guy who is an SOB player, I'm not saying he can't help. I'm saying I'm giving you choice of one of the two of he is just not a good guy, but he is wired to win. I'm taking the wired to win guy. Yes, I'm not trying to say you can't do both. You definitely can. I am saying we certainly know our share of pro athletes we've all covered who would elect not to do the good stuff.
I will say, I think fans should be just as dedicated as the players. That's why I've been holding my bladder for 32 straight hours. You want to know why?
Because it's the cup.
Because it's the cup. That's right. Greg, you guys want to do some statements here on this Monday?
Yes.
Let's get to it.
Some wild related statements. All right. Who wants to lead off? I mean, Hockey Whisperer's got a full bag here, too. So you tell me. You want Hockey Whisperer to lead off or back cleanup?
I say we go Whisperer, Declan, then me.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. The Hockey Whisperer is going to borrow one from legendary Minnesota hockey coach Gordon Bombay, who once said, you got to get up early if you want to hunt goose eggs. The Wild have been atrocious historically in games 1 and 2 of playoff series. They are 6-24 in games 1 and 2 in playoff series in franchise history. 6-24. Stop hitting the snooze button. Get out of bed early for the playoffs. Go hunt those goose eggs, and at least win one of the first 2 games. Okay, it'd be great to just win the first 2 games and play from ahead for once in a series. You know, think about how many times they've been forced to come back from down 3-1 or, whatever, down 2 games to 0 or whatever it is. So 6-24 in games 1 and 2, you can't keep doing that against the Blues here. So got to get up early if you want to hunt goose eggs.
That's why the team is different. That's the whole point. Bill Guerin knows that. He had a lot of guys on that team who were 6-24 guys. Oh no, we're behind. What are we going to do? This is why you got to come out. This is why you've got to play. Every game has to be approached the same way. Every single game. Consistency is the key.
Okay.
Dex?
All right. My statement is, it doesn't matter. What I mean by that is, whoever the Wild end up starting in goal for Game 1 here this evening against the St. Louis Blues, and the Wild have a practice here in about an hour, so as people are consuming this, it could be potentially out there who they're starting. But I'll just say it, no matter who it is, whether it's Talbot or Marc-Andre Fleury, it does not matter. Both these guys have been dialed in. I know Cam Talbot has honestly outplayed Fleury here down the stretch a bit, but Marc-Andre Fleury is one of the most decorated and best goaltenders of all time. So if they want to turn it over to the veteran who's been there and done that, great. If they want to give it to the hot hand that is Cam Talbot, also great. And by the way, no matter who the Wild start, he is a better goaltender, as in Fleury or Talbot, than Ville Husso that St. Louis has deployed here. I did go back and did some research on Husso, because Husso's been mostly their number one guy. I mean, him and Binnington split sometime, but Husso's is the clear-cut number one guy for St. Louis. And in the last 14 games, Husso has a .297 GAA, a .907 save percentage, so honestly a little bit below league average. The only thing he's been a little decent at is high danger save percentage, meaning he's stopping pucks in high danger areas at a little bit better rate than his normal underlying numbers have suggest. But no matter who the Wild start in net, whether it's Fleury or Talbot, it doesn't matter. The Wild still have a goaltending advantage in this series.
Interesting. And I wonder if Husso has not ever appeared in a playoff game. I think he's like 24, 25, so he's not young, but this is his first year with the Blues. I wonder what the leash is going to be like there, too. Because, I mean, Binnington, to your point, Dex, was playing more. He won a Stanley Cup, so he's been there, done that before. So I wonder if they're going to start with Husso, but there's going to be a relatively short leash. And Binnington's so weird, man. He could come in and stand on his head, or he could come in and completely melt down. He is the prototypical weird goaltender. All right. It's my statement. It's all about the special teams. I believe the advanced metrics and statistics point to the fact that 5-on-5, the Wild is clearly a better team. Like it's no debate there. But here are the special teams facts. Spitting truths here, boys. The Wild was 18th on the power play and 25th during the regular season on the penalty kill. The Blues, conversely, 2nd on the power play, 5th on the PK. In other words, stay out of the box. And the one thing, if you're the Wild, that you don't want, unless something is going to change drastically in the stats that I just read you guys, the one thing you can't afford is for this to become a special teams series. Because I think if it's 5-on-5, the Wild wins. I think if it goes sideways, so you got to be really smart as well, then you're shifting it to the Blues' advantage. So it's all about the special teams.
And to Judd's point there, too, the advanced metrics have suggested, at least through my guy Jay Fresh Hockey, who does a good job explaining hockey analytics in visual ways, that St. Louis has the number 1 finishing rate this season. So they finish and they convert their goals in greasy areas at the best rate in the NHL. Now, 5-on-5...
skill versus luck.
More skill than luck. But also a large part of that is because they're lethal on the power play.
Yep.
They're lethal on the power play.
Yes.
I think Judd and I talked about this on Judd's Hockey Show over the weekend. I think when you look at a 30,000-foot view, it's clear the Wild have a better offense than St. Louis. They just do, and I think they're deeper. But St. Louis has done such a better job at converting their power plays at an elite rate that it kind of now makes both these offense right in the middle of each other. And it's almost a push. Like when you factor in the special teams part, St. Louis has been so good and they finish so well that it's honestly a push when it comes to both these teams' offenses.
Now, the most important thing about that statement, though, is this. You can't finish what you can't get to. In other words, you got to gum it up, baby. You got to, like, they are getting to pucks or flat out taking the puck to the net. If you can't get to the net, this is the 2017 first round that the Wild lost to the Blues. Keep in mind, they got a ton of shots, but what didn't they do? They couldn't get to the rebounds. They got outworked and weren't big enough to get there. So this is sort of the converse, the exact opposite of that. You've got to treat the Blues skill guys like the Blues treated you back in 17 and not allow them to get to the puck, cover rebounds, use the body to keep guys out.
All right, Hockey Whisperer has another statement here, but this one's presented by our friends at Dennis Kirk and DennisKirk.com. If you are a motorcycle rider, Harleys, Indians, metric cruisers, sport bikes, you'll find what you need at DennisKirk.com. They have 160,000 parts and accessories in stock, clothing and helmets as well. Order by 8 p.m. and they ship the same day, and shipping is free for orders over $89. Get in gear and head to DennisKirk.com. Ride more, wait less at DennisKirk.com. All right. The Hockey Whisperer is not concerned about Marc-Andre Fleury. That's right. The Hockey Whisperer is not concerned about Marc-Andre Fleury. I know everyone's panicking, keeps giving up 4 goals and 4 goals, 5, whatever. So, listen, he's old. He's bored with regular season hockey. And if you go back the 6 years of his career, he rises up in the playoffs relative to his regular season performance. His last 4 years in Vegas, his save percentage goes up and his goals against average goes down considerably in the playoffs compared to the regular season. And so I think, maybe he just needed a few weeks to get used to his new surroundings. I don't know. New arena, new apartment. Maybe he's just bored. But when the playoff lights flip on, Marc-Andre Fleury gets better later in his age. Either way, let's say he doesn't. Declan brought up Cam Talbot earlier. Cam Talbot hasn't lost in regulation since March 1st.
Yeah, it's been great.
So, listen, I think Marc-Andre Fleury playing at his best is your best way to carve out a deep playoff run here, but Cam Talbot hasn't lost in regulation since March 1st. 2 months. So I think I'm, much like Declan said, pretty comfortable with the Wild goaltending situation.
Love it.
Let's just say it, the Whisperer is comfortable.
The Whisperer. Phil, not so sure. The Whisperer, though, is like,
he's looked in his crystal ball.
We got this.
He's ready to go. Fleury to Talbot. All right, my next statement here. which Kevin Fiala shows up tonight. So Fiala's been on an absolute heater, dude. I mean, he's just been a completely different player. Honestly, one of the best players in the NHL over the last 6 weeks, legitimately. Him and Kirill Kaprizov have been Batman and Robin. They've been unbelievable. But now the playoff lights turn on a little bit, right? And we saw this last year with both Kirill and Fiala, that they kind of got shut down. There was moments where, they put out a lot of shots, and they definitely weren't an albatross against their team, but their scoring went down. Now that it's the playoffs, what kind of Kevin Fiala are we going to get? Because also Fiala is prone to sometimes making mistakes, right? Like he can turn pucks over and get too cute. Yep. And in the playoffs, those mistakes are obviously heightened, and you can't have that happen. So Fiala's, I think this can carry over into the playoffs from his hot streak into the regular season. But if Kirill Kaprizov gets shut down, because the Blues are going to do everything they can to slow down the top line of Kirill, Matt Zuccarello, and Ryan Hartman, Kevin Fiala has to be the guy that reaps those benefits and gets rewarded for goals if that top line is being shut down. So I'm excited to see which Kevin Fiala shows up in the playoffs against the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah. There's been a lot of players in Wild history who score 25, 30 goals in the regular season and then disappear completely in May. So,
what's your guess, Declan?
Over to Granlund.
Off
to Zucker.
So Nino.
God, yeah,
Coils Myers goes on.
Yeah. Hey, it's about hard work and having fun, guys.
Yeah, that's right, Nino. Hard work and having fun.
Dex, what's your guess on Fiala?
I think he shows up. I think him and he's now had a legitimate tandem here with Boldy too. That's been great. And Frederick Gaudreau, who Judd and I kind of thought was just some slappy placeholder that wasn't going to be really making a big factor towards helping this team making a significant playoff run and pushing them over the top to win playoff series. He's been a damn good center on that line. He does it. He works hard. He's a good skater. He's fast too. He does a lot of good things that also make up for the mistakes that Kevin Fiala sometimes can do. So I think he shows up. I do think he shows up.
All right. Wild statements and weekend statements in particular are about definitive statements. They're about putting your neck out. They're about coming and being cocky and confident. You know what? Much like this team, and I'm going to give you one right now, and you can write this statement down. I'm going to double dip it. The Wild will beat the Blues.
Oh, wow.
The Wild is going to beat the Blues. Off the record, I think it goes 7 games. But this team is 19-2-3 since March 16th. This team is wired differently. This team is fully aware of the fact that the season begins tonight. Everything else is a nice appetizer. It was a long one. It's a long one, 82 games, but it's an appetizer. But when Bill Guerin said that, he wasn't saying it's about effing winning a game in Edmonton in January. He's talking about the playoffs. He's talking about the Cup because it's the Cup. And so I really think that there is, I think it's a positive pressure because I think it's been constructed right. And I think they've done it with the right players, including some great moves by Guerin at the deadline. So write this down, my statement, the Wild will beat the Blues.
Write this down.
I like getting out front there.
Well, it starts tonight, and I gotta be on it. I gotta be on it, and I truly believe, I might be proven completely wrong, I truly believe that this team is different, and I truly believe that it was built, I mean, it looks like a playoff team. Well, that's how it's constructed.
Here's the bad news, okay? The Hockey Whisperer is bringing a dose of reality to the table here.
That's where I don't like the Whisperer.
The Whisperer generally agrees with Judd here that it's going to be like a 6 or 7 game series and the Wild will prevail. But here's the statement.
Okay. The
Wild might have the hardest path to a Stanley Cup of any team in the NHL.
Oh yeah.
So the first round you get a 109-point Blues team with by the way some leftover Stanley Cup experience. You know, it's not like they turned their whole roster over.
Mm-hmm.
They've been hot for 2 months, mostly 2-3 months. Okay, you get by them 6 or 7 games, whatever it is. Okay. Yep. Then a 119-point Colorado Avalanche team likely awaits you. They led the Western Conference in goals scored. So so your prize in the second round is an even better team. And now you're halfway. If you can get past those 2 teams, congratulations, you're halfway to hoisting the first Stanley Cup in Minnesota hockey history, okay? Then you potentially get a Calgary team that led the Western Conference in goal differential. And if you make it through that gauntlet, you get whoever comes out of the East. And there are 3 or 4 monster teams in the East, right? The Florida Panthers, the Maple Leafs, the Lightning. It can be done. It can be done, but this is a really unforgivable path through the next 2 months. We're going to find out a lot about this franchise.
Spitting facts. The whisperer brings reality. That's what I love about him. Like, there's no, we're not trying. And you're right. And by the way, I think the Wild wins this series. I really do. But the flaw in the playoff system is that the Blues and Wild in no way, shape, or form should be playing. It should be, I believe, with the old 1-8-2-7 process, I believe they would have gotten the Kings. Yeah. Which would have been a much more, I think they could be, right? So, the problem with the whole thing is that you can go first round Blues, second round Avs. That's a lot, but you're right, Whisper.
Yeah, no risk management here for the Wild, unfortunately. They have to go right through all of the challenges. But as a business owner, if there are challenges and risks on the horizon, which there always are, you can have a great partner standing next to you. Federated Insurance, over 100 years of experience in helping businesses maximize their success. Find a full list of industries Federated protects at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, let's take a quick break and a breather before Viking statements and a buffoon of the week. Mackey and Judd, Daily Minnesota Sports Entertainment.